We're constantly being told to be the change that we want to see. My question is, how many of us are being the change that we want to see? How many of us are doing things directly or indirectly for immediate or long-term change? How many of us? How many of us are going outside of ourselves and doing things to help other people in our community, other people in need? How many of us are going outside of our household to help people in need? How many of us are building foundations to help people in need? How many of us are coming together to structure the unified foundation that we need to build a better community, not only for people in need, but for ourselves as well? How many of us? How many of us are uplifting, motivating, and supporting the needs, the efforts, the sacrifices, the journeys of others who are out there doing? How many of us are supporting? How many of us are stepping outside of ourselves and doing something to be a part of the great change? How many of us? How many of us are just sitting, waiting for someone else to do the work? How many of us are putting in the work? How many of us really don't care at all? How many of us are satisfied with where we are today and the state of our union? How many of us? These are questions that we have to ask. These are questions that we have to ask because we're in a time where it is vital. It is vital for us to come together. It is vital for us to build a stronger foundation, unified together. It is vital for us to strengthen our communities. It is vital for us. It is most certainly vital for us. How many of us are even contemplating doing anything to be a part of change for our communities, for our families, and for ourselves? How many of us? How many of us are happy with the way things are? How many of us are displeased? How many of us are sick and tired of being sick and tired? How many of us are going to do something to take a stand so that we can have something better for our tomorrow than we had yesterday or today? How many of us? That is the question. It doesn't take much. All it takes is a thought, a dream, and an action to put those things into motion. That's all it takes. All it takes is a prayer and faith, hope, commitment, dedication. That's all it takes. All it takes is for you to get up, get out, and do something, anything. Anything. The smallest thing. Anything. It doesn't take much. All it takes is for you to make a decision that you're going to stand for something and no longer fall for anything. That's all it takes. How many of us are looking at the man in the mirror and really striving to be a part of change? How many of us? That is the question that we need to ask, and we need to get answers. And with those answers, we need to start changing and put some actions in place. How many of us? MJK.